Setting itself apart from the rest of the family by having the tightest string pattern, this is the Prince Phantom 100X 18x20. With the third generation of this frame, the Phantom 100X 18x20 is incredibly flexible with pinpoint accuracy. Updated with an anti-torque system at 10 and 2 in the head and Zylon materials, stability has been enhanced without taking away from how explosively this racket swings. With a buttery thin beam and CTS construction technology, this racket continues to offer loads of feel and is a nice modern update on a classic player's racket.
Of all the new Prince Phantom frames, it was probably the Phantom 100P at about 310 grams. It was my favorite, but a close second is the Phantom 100X 18 main. And just kind of transitioning back and forth between both of these frames, I definitely found there to be a similar amount of power, albeit sourced from different kind of aspects of the frame. So for this one, I'm definitely feeling more push, more mass, like a heavier bowling ball, getting better plow through stability with a 320 gram frame. But the other one had an open pattern, so I was getting an easier launch angle. So overall, slice, wow, definitely feel very connected to any kind of a back spin shot. Slice down the line, cross court was just very easy to generate. Top spin, so long as I had a kind of a thinner, edgy string paired with this frame, I definitely got the kind of launch angle and the grip on the ball that I really need to be effective with my ground strokes, etc. And overall, this is definitely a comfort and control story. It is a thinner beam. I think the RA on most of these new Phantoms are somewhere just under 60, around 59. So obviously, just a high degree of precision. Granville would probably mention that this is a scalpel-like racket for sure. Very enjoyable playtest. I would say my favorite shot to hit, besides just being able to absorb pace and change direction of the ball, which is my game style, was serve. I really felt like the mass just made it an easy trajectory and arc over there. And again, with a thinner string, I was able to pull the ball down. Overall, just a fantastic racket.
Ton of control out of this version of the Phantom line. I love the dense string pattern on this. I just really was able to control the depth of my ball very well from the string bed. And then there's just heaps of feel and control for the ball from the frame of this racket as well. So I felt very dialed in on all of my shots. At net, I love the precision, the touch I had on my shots again, just really could hit my targets as well as I can. So I really felt like I was volleying to the best of my ability. This racket's got just enough mass, I think, for it to be nice and solid and stable, even against some heavy hitting situations. But it's also a fairly maneuverable racket. I found it easy to get around my body and especially get into position during quick exchanges at net. And when I was looking to roll an angle, I found the racket easy to get around the ball to do so. Same on serve. I had some nice plow through power from the racket. And again, just lots of control and feel. So I was serving very consistently with it, finding my targets well, and just all in all, a really pleasant playtest. I really like this update to the Phantom line.
Coming into this playtest, was looking forward to this new update of the 100X 1820 in the Phantom line. I've tried many iterations of this racket going way back to say like EX03 tour days with the 1820 pattern, some with the ports and some with the solid beam. So this racket really, really nice from the baseline. This is the heaviest racket in the Phantom line now, and just really solid and stable from the baseline. Has a nice weight to it. With the 1820 pattern, I typically don't play 100 square inch, but with the 1820 pattern, I think that's a good pairing there. So it kind of opened things up. It still was decently spin friendly from the baseline. I love the feel on the slice, that thin beam on serve. I wasn't getting a ton of free power, but with the mass of this one, say compared to like the 100P that I also tested, got a little bit more plow through power on the flat serve. Spin serves, a nice spin window. And I really just like stepping in from the baseline with this one, taking the ball early on the rise, redirecting pace. I think I said this on an old version of this, but kind of trying to do that Nikolai Davydenko. He used to play with an old version of this. So just taking it early, using the angles, and just a super plush, nice feel to this racket.
I had the opportunity to play test this racket alongside of that 16x19, which has a bit of a lower static weight. Between the two, the 1820 was the one for me. However, I have to say the flexibility, it's just not what I like. I like a stiffer feel, and this racket is too flexible for me. However, I will mention that it reminded me a lot of the Dunlop CX200 Tour 1820 that we recently play tested. And similar to that one, I absolutely loved hitting first serves with this racket. I think because I like to do that slingshot kind of motion, everything just fell in line with the timing, and I felt really dialed in with my precision while able to hit big flat shots. So love that about this. Off the ground, I did note the tighter string pattern was leaving me a few more errors in the net than I'm used to, unfortunately. That's just, you know, something that I had to kind of alter my swing a little bit because it has the more closed pattern. At net, super easy to volley with. Back to ground strokes, I did feel like the sweet spot similar to that 16-19 was a little demanding, a little small, and off-center hits weren't the most stable, but again, I'm used to playing with one of the most stable rackets out there, so it's really hard to compare. All in all, this is a great racket if you love that classic feel and you're the opposite of me and you're looking for all the flexibility, so give it a try. We tried this racket with a bunch of different string setups, but today we're hitting it with Prince Tour XP at 51 pounds. To learn more about this racket and many others, be sure to visit us at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.